Napping buddies. The best nap ever.
Twilight? Twilight!
A Saiyan mare ferociously knocked onto the door of the Princess of Friendship, waiting for an answer. She quickly moved her hooves as if they were burning from touching the floor, and knocked once more.
Come on, Twilight!
After a while, she could hear hoofsteps, and she backed away from the door. The tall door opened to reveal Twilight Sparkle covered in cake batter and wearing a chef's hat.
Rainbow Dash? What's wrong?
The princess asked in concern.
Oh, thanks, Celestia, you're home. Well, you see, Wait, what are you doing?
Twilight took a few seconds to scan herself and giggled.
Oh, I was just making a cake with Spike for Princess Celestia's birthday. I thought it would be nice to make something for her. She's been really busy lately. Hey, Twilight, I finished up unloading the apples for you.
An orange cow mare walked up next to Twilight and turned to Rainbow. Rainbow Dash, glancing at Applejack with a double take, looked at her with confusion.
Applejack, what are you doing here? I came here to give Twilight some apples for Princess Celestia's cake. What's the matter with you? Why do y'all look so stressed?
The mare rubbed the back of her head with a hoof to explain.
Well, you see, I just found out that I need to take a written test in order to stay in the Wonderbolts. I came here to ask if you can help me, Twilight, but I see that you're busy. Oh, of course!
Twilight exclaimed.
Don't worry, Rainbow Dash. I'm sure I can help you pass the test.
Rainbow Dash quickly jumped into the lavender mare and gave her a hug.
Oh, thank you, Twilight. You're the best. Oh, wait, but what about the cake? Oh, it's fine. I'm sure Spike can take over for a while. He's better at cooking than I am. Well, I'm gonna head back home now.
Applejack started to trot off when Twilight stopped her in her tracks.
Now, hold on, Applejack. You don't have to leave so early.
The orange pony nodded nervously.
It's fine, Sugar Cube. I really should go. But what's wrong, Applejack?
The princess asked worriedly. Applejack sighed.
It's because I don't want to be here when Rainbow gets worked up and starts calling every pony a female dog.
Rainbow scoffed.
What are you talking about, bitch?
Twilight was rather surprised by her vulgar language as Applejack shook her head in disappointment and left. Twilight cleared her throat to break the awkward silence and scratched the back of her head.
Come on in, Rainbow, and please don't use any of that language here. I'm still mad about how you taught Spike the F word.
Rainbow shrugged.
Hey, he was bound to learn it from you anyways. Do you remember the tea spilling incident at Rarities? Well, it was boiling hot tea. What the hell was I supposed to do?
Twilight had gasped and quickly put her hooves to her mouth.
You don't think Spike heard that, did you?
She asked innocently. Too late, the purple drake said in the distance.
Shit.
Twilight cursed under her breath, and meanwhile Rainbow Dash just put a hoof on her head.
Whatever. Dash, just come on in and let's get some work done.
The sun, orange and shimmering, sneaked its way into the library windows. Many papers and charts about the Wonderbolts were scrambled across the floor, and a box of leftover pizza on the table. Its bright rays directly hit the lavender alicorn sleeping on the couch, making her stir as she started to wake up. At the same time, Rainbow Dash yawned as she found it hard to open her eyes. They both turned to each other slowly, and after a few seconds they realized what they were doing. Twilight was on top of Rainbow Dash, holding onto her back while Rainbow Dash was on the bottom, and furthermore, was holding onto the princess as well by the waist.
Oh my gosh, what the—
They both screamed and quickly jumped off of each other. They were both standing opposite from each other in utter disbelief.
What the hell just happened?
The alicorn shouted at her with complete concern.
Well, I don't know,
Rainbow shouted back. Then they both gasped as quickly checking themselves in the couch. They were looking for any signs of intimacy, and they didn't find any to their relief. Twilight sighed.
We fell asleep. That's all that happened here.
Rainbow Dash agreed.
Yeah.
They both stood there, seconds agonizingly passing by as they couldn't even look at each other in the eye. The Pegasus was the first to break the silence.
I think I should go. I think that would probably be for the best.
The princess agreed and opened the door for Rainbow Dash. Rainbow nervously trotted towards the door before turning to Twilight.
Well, I'll, see you later and talk about how the test went.
The Princess of Friendship nodded.
Sure, but not about this. Never.
The Saiyan pony exclaimed. Rainbow went in for a hug to thank Twilight for the help, but was interrupted by a frantic princess exclaiming.
No hugs, no hugs.
Rainbow flew out of the castle as fast as she could, and the alicorn slammed the door. She slowly slid onto the back of the door to the ground and put her hooves to her head.
So, Twilight, do you want me to bring the sandwiches then for our next picnic?
A timid yellow pony asked.
Only if you want to,
Twilight answered.
I don't want to cause any trouble for you. Oh, not at all. I enjoy making sandwiches with the help of my friends back at home. I'm so excited!
A pink pony shouted at the top of her lungs with joy.
It'll be just like the old times.
Rarity double glanced at Pinky.
What do you mean by old times, Pinky dear?
The party pony shrugged.
I mean, we don't get to hang out as much as we used to. She's right, you know.
Rainbow Dash flew in next to her and continued.
But we've been all busy just doing our own things, not to mention all the saving the world we do stuff on a daily basis.
Applejack nodded.
I'm just glad that we can take off some time. Things have been crazy back at Sweet Apple Acres for my taste. Then it's settled,
Twilight stated.
We'll head out first thing tomorrow afternoon.
Rarity got up from her seat and yawned.
Excuse me, but I must head back home. It's getting late and I need to finish a couple of things before I can close the boutique.
The rest of the main six followed Rarity out of the door, except for a certain blue Pegasus who stopped on her tracks. She glanced back at Twilight, who was putting her dishes away. Rainbow Dash took a look at the door once more before walking towards the alicorn.
Hey, Twilight?
The princess looked back to Rainbow and slightly blushed, hiding her face with the unclean dishes.
Oh, hey, Rainbow Dash. Listen, I just wanted to say thank you for helping me study. I passed the test because of you with an A.
Twilight seemed to calm down after hearing that she passed and smiled.
Well, then I'm glad that I can help you. Twilight, can we talk about yesterday?
Rainbow asked with sincerity as she was a good 6 feet away from Twilight. The Lavender Princess interrupted, alarmed with her question.
No, we swore that we wouldn't talk about this. Come on, Twilight. We need to talk about this. There is nothing to talk about. We were just tired from studying so much.
Rainbow Dash sighed heavily.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
The alicorn slowly breathed in and out, and allowed her friend to continue.
Well, then, what is it? Look, I don't know how to put this, so I'll just say it. That was the best nap I've ever had.
The two mares stood in silence until a bright red blush appeared on Twilight's face.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The princess quickly averted her gaze from the Pegasus' eyes.
Come on, you know I'm the best at napping, and you also know that it was amazing too.
Twilight scoffed and looked at the floor.
Well, I've had better.
Rainbow stepped up to her and rolled her eyes.
Oh really? When?
Twilight slowly looked at her, then shut her eyes and gritted her teeth.
Okay, fine. Alright, that was the best nap ever.
The Lavender Alicorn shouted in defeat as Rainbow nodded.
I told you. But it's over, Rainbow.
The Pegasus, red in the face, took a deep breath before exclaiming.
Well, I want to do it again.
Twilight looked at her with an even bigger blush and shook her head.
But we can't do it again. Well, why not?
Rainbow whined.
Because it's weird.
Rainbow wasn't budging.
Well, why is it weird? That's something only couples do, Rainbow Dash. And we're not together like that. And while it was, amazing.
Twilight said, hiding her face with her wings.
It's weird.
Rainbow sighed and gave up.
Well, fine.
The Pegasus then took out a bottle from her satchel and asked her friend.
So, do you want something to drink?
The princess complied.
Sure. What do you have with you? Oh, nothing much. Just some more milk and bottles of Applejack Daniels.
Twilight groaned and quickly walked away from Rainbow to the door. However, she stopped in her tracks and turned back to her friend.
I just remembered that I live here.
The alicorn then turned to the other door and tried her best to not look at Rainbow Dash.
I'm gonna go to my bedroom and don't you dare follow me up there,
she shouted, teleporting away from Dash, leaving her alone with the map.